All right, hello everyone. My name is Bianca Brooks and you're watching Trading Photos. Today we have a very special guest. Her name is Allyse Gibson. Welcome to the show.
Thanks so much, Bianca.
All right, I'm super excited to meet her. I've been following her on Instagram for years. I'm in her comment section. I'm like, I wonder if she remembers me. Let's see. So I reached out to her for an interview and here she is.
Yes, I definitely remember you. Thanks so much for being supportive all those years, and we've been following each other. I think like you hopped on my live and you're like, hey, Allyse. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember you. So yeah, I'm so happy to be here on your show. This is great, yeah.
Yeah, I've been following you for a while. I've been following you from Allie and Cali. I think you were in Florida again and then you went back to Cali.
Yes, so when I first moved to LA, I think that was 2014, yeah. And I had like the Allie and Cali show that I was doing. So I did that for like a year or so. And I think I stayed out here in LA for about 5 years. And then I went home to like regroup for a year, home to Florida. And I'm back, and I've been back for about 3 years now in LA. So it's been a journey.
That's good. So you went through the pandemic here.
I did. So it started when the pandemic started. I was living here in LA, and like everything shut down. And I'm like, okay, should I wait it out? I don't know. But I got really scared because I didn't know what was going to happen. So I did go home to quarantine in Florida for a few months. And then once everything started kind of normalizing, then I came back. But I'm just like, yeah. So I did go to Florida. I'm like all over the place, back and forth. I'm bi-coastal. Yeah.
That's good. Like most artists, you're bi-coastal, you travel for, work, safety, whatever.
Yeah, definitely. But I'm blessed to be able to move around freely like that. So it's cool.
Nice. So did you move to LA for acting and music, or is it primarily acting?
Yeah, so when I initially moved, it was for music, to pursue my music career. But then naturally, I just started becoming friends with actors. So I'm like, I can do this, and it's really fun too. Because I just had a friend who was like, hey, we just need an actor for this YouTube show that we're doing. So that's kind of how I fell into it, and I liked it. So I started pursuing acting as well. And then I started doing the Allie show because of it too. So
I know.
yeah.
Actors and singers are like this, so that's good.
Yeah, it's just like being an entertainer. You know what I mean? It's a lot of times there's a lot of crossover in that. So definitely.
Nice, nice. So that was your first acting gig when you got out here. It's your friend who's like, yeah, we're doing a show. And
yeah, his sketch comedy show called The Office Bully. It's really funny. It's on YouTube. So that was my first experience. And then I started taking acting classes, and it just went from there. But I will say my first love has always been music. That's like my baby, definitely.
Nice. So how did your parents feel when you said, you know what, I'm going to go to California, I want to pursue music?
Very iffy, you know what I mean? They always wanted me to, go to college. I got my education. They wanted me to have a good corporate job with the 401k and that security, and I did that. I worked in corporate America for 10 years. And when I moved out here, I still had my corporate job. I was working remotely. So I think that made them comfortable knowing I still had my corporate job when I moved out here. But they're like, why do you have to move to the other side of the country? Why do you have to go so far? But I'm like, it's always been my dream. Like, I grew up doing gymnastics and dancing, and they've seen me doing that. And then I started producing music in high school. So they've always known it, but they've been scary, but they've been so supportive the whole time, my family. So, yeah.
Well, that's good. That's very nice. It's always good to have a good support system. But 10 years in corporate America, I was there for 10 minutes. As soon as the training was over and I got the free food, I left.
Yes, the free food was amazing. We were really spoiled. That's how they kept us at the desk, is to just give us the free. We had a vendor of ours always bring in Cheesecake Factory.
Ooh. And
he would bring in all these different flavors of cheesecake. That was like my favorite thing ever. So they find ways to bribe you. So it's cool. But I have nothing against corporate America, honestly. Like, I'm glad I had that experience. It's a good plan B, even though I don't want to do that plan B. But I'm proud of my education. I was a data analyst for a while, and I made a good living. It's just not what I was passionate about. That's all. So
Well, I'm happy that you said that because I feel like people don't understand the importance of doing something that you're passionate about so you're not like dragging yourself to work every day.
Yeah, definitely. I think it doesn't really feel like a job. Everyone says that when you're doing what you love, but it's true. You know what I mean? It's so true, and it's cool to be able to get paid from doing, what you like to do. So, and growing up and going to college and things, I didn't realize how many careers there were in the entertainment industry. I didn't go to school of the arts or anything, so I just wasn't educated on it. But moving here to LA and meeting so many different people, there's a lot of different ways to make a living in this entertainment industry. Even if you're an assistant director, or you can be an artist manager. You don't have to be an artist. There's like a lot of different things you can do. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Shout out to the people who work behind the scenes. They definitely help to make things happen too.
They're just as important as the artists, because we have to like work together as a team. So definitely, yeah.
Nice. So you said that you came here to pursue your music career. So did you do any music in Florida, network with anybody or anything?
Florida was just in college. I would do like songs with people who lived in the Orlando community because I went to school in Orlando. I did songs, but I feel like that was kind of like my development period. I was super young, like 19, 20-ish. So I was kind of like developing and finding what I wanted my style to be. But I feel like when I moved out here is when I started working more professionally with producers who have had a lot of great work. So yeah, I think I've made more music since living in LA, definitely.
Well, that's good. Especially this is such a big artistic environment. So I'm sure you're getting lots of inspiration.
Oh yeah, all the time. And I've learned to just listen to as many different types of artists and upcoming artists to kind of get inspired. And for me, since I started producing and writing my own stuff, I've learned to start collaborating more with people and letting them give me ideas. And I feel like the more people you kind of collaborate with, it just makes a song better and better and better, getting inspired from them, so it's cool.
That's so interesting that you said that you like to collaborate with people because, there are some artists who are like, I'm not collaborating with anybody. I'm going to produce this. I'm going to write this. I'm going to film this. And I'm like, oh, okay. But, I feel like collaboration is so important. Networking is super important in this business. So I'm happy that you mentioned that.
Yeah, definitely. To be honest, I used to be a do-it-yourself kind of person too. But I've just realized the value other people can bring to me. So right now with my new music, I've been producing it, but I'll have other producers come in and listen and maybe throw something in there. And also like getting help with vocal production is huge. Having someone listen to what you've written and expand on that. And I'm like, oh, I like that, and it's just, you don't be greedy. I think sometimes if you collaborate, your projects can go further and you would make more money than if you just say, I'm just going to do all this myself, and it won't get as far. You know what I mean? So that's kind of how I look at it.
Well, yeah, I feel like because you're also combining, the followers that you have too. Like, let's say you have 20,000 followers, I have 20,000 followers. Now your reach can go further because, we're working together.
Exactly, definitely. So definitely share the love, you know what I'm saying? Get all the paperwork right. Don't try to rip each other off kind of situation.
It's another thing that goes on in the business. Got to read those contracts.
It does. It really does. So yeah, you have to know the business side of it too. So.
Nice. So do you have like a lawyer, or are you the person who reads over contracts?
I don't have a lawyer, but I have contacted a lawyer before when I needed them to read over like an agency contract. So I don't have like a set lawyer, but I know how to get one if I need to.
No, but that's good that you know how to do that, because there are some times where people don't read contracts, and a very big word in contracts is perpetuity, which means forever. And I'm like, I feel like there are certain key words we should really know as artists before we just sign away.
Definitely. I think some people may get a little too excited if someone's like, hey, I like your work, sign on with me, or and they just go ahead and sign it. And then 2-3 years later, when the money's starting to come out, it's like, okay, I don't have any money. Well, you signed your rights away. So now you can't be mad kind of situation. So a lot of that happens, unfortunately. But yeah, just educate yourself. There's a lot of free information. People teach classes on it online. I go to, like, for instance, this week is the Taxi music seminar. So Taxi is like a sync music licensing service where you can submit your music to be placed on television and film. So I like to go to conferences like that because they do talk about the legal aspects. So you have to help yourself, you as an artist, you kind of have to, you don't have to have lawyer knowledge, but you have to know the basics. So that's what I'm doing for the next 3 days, going to that conference and to network. Yeah.
No, that's good. I'm happy to hear that. I love to hear that artists are doing that. So tell me about your latest single.
So my latest single that I released is Never Later. It is a slow jam. I wrote it. It's different for me because I usually do like upbeat pop music. And this is like a little bit of like a freaky slow jam R&B situation. So this is like my first song like that, but a lot of people like it. It's a cool vibe, definitely. And I know a lot of my fans are like, when is the music video coming out? Because I think I put out like 4 music videos so far in the last few years, and there's not going to be a music video for this one, unfortunately. But
The one
yeah.
R&B like song you have, there's no music video. Come on now.
I know, and
Don't do
I
that
have
to
ideas
us.
for it too. So I don't know. Maybe I will one day.
That's a
but I've
sign
been
you got the ideas for it. That's a sign. That's a sign.
Yeah. So I just been really obsessed with like making my new music right now and producing. So I'm just kind of letting what I released last year kind of circulate a little bit while I'm in the studio. So yeah.
Nice. And tell me also about your single Forget You.
Forget You is really special as well. That's like a pop song. And that one was fun to work on because I had like my vocal coach that I was working on with at the time. Shout out to Summer. She jumped on some of the background vocals. She was actually on, I think it was America's Got Talent when she was in a girl group. So it's just special for me to have her on some of the background vocals. I think like it's like back in the 70s, 80s, a lot of artists like Patti LaBelle and Luther Vandross, they would, and Whitney Houston, they would have background singers. Mariah Carey did it a lot too. And it really fills out and brings like a different feel to the song because you have the lead singer doing the lead, and then you also, in addition with me doing the lead, you stack other vocals, so it sounds like a choir a little bit sometimes. So it was cool to have her in there because it just makes it sound a little different, so it's cool. Okay. Yeah.
Nice. All right, so you said you filmed 4 music videos. Which one is your favorite?
Oh my God, that's so hard because they're like my children. Artists like,
Sometimes people have favorite children. They don't want to say it, but there's such a thing as a favorite child.
It might be a tie between, so Do Me is my latest video. A lot of people like that. It's such a fun video. It's kind of like throwback pop. And Maddie Owens was the creative director and choreographer for it. And we shot that in Orlando. I flew over there, and it's cool to use the
you went
dancers.
back home for this one. Nice.
I did. Well, I think I've shot all my music videos in Florida.
Oh, really?
And to be transparent, because I just like being frank and transparent with people, it's less expensive. It's less expensive for me to buy a plane ticket and go home and shoot it in Florida. That's literally because I'm a self-run operation. It's just what But also it's cool because I get to dance with my friends in the video. So it's like, hey, and I pay my dancers too. A lot of people don't do that, but I get to employ my friends. So it's cool. And so yeah, Do Me was fun because it was like a montage kind of like of getting ready, and the girls are going to their individual jobs. Watch me do me. I'm an independent woman. But like we're all kind of part-time entertainers too. So it's showing that we can balance like that work life and the passion, the entertaining thing. So Maddie had a really good vision behind that. And it was super fun to do that with her. I've always wanted to work with Maddie Owens because she's an ex-professional cheerleader. And so am I. And I always looked up to her because she was like, started her career before mine. So I was always like, I want to, be on teams like she is. So it was cool to work with her. And then the other one is Never Back Down, because that song I wrote and put out during the pandemic. And it was like that fighter, I'm not gonna give up, because we all felt so like, what the heck am I gonna do right now? At least for the people who lost their employment, And so I wrote the song, I recorded it in LA, I flew to Florida to make the video, because the producer I was working with, named qpheni, was in LA. So I had to come here to record it with him. And then the creative director and choreographer for that video is one of my good friends, Tiffany Green. And she's a genius. She's from Palm Beach. We went to middle school together. So it's so dope to work with a friend you've known since middle school. And she was a dancer on the dance team, and I was a cheerleader. And I'm like, look at us now making music videos. But it's such a strong video. And it was on the beach, and I love the beach. And like, it was just so creative, and we were dancing in wetsuits in the water. Like, it's just cool like that, So those two are like my babies, I think. And two different directors shot the videos too. So I think sometimes I like making music videos more than actually recording the song sometimes, because I'm a performer, I like performing. So.
But you are not a part-time entertainer, correct?
No, I'm definitely not. I think in the Do Me music videos, like, we were showing like that balance of trying to be like have that corporate job and like that dance life. That was what the Do Me music video was about. But I quit my corporate job. Yay me. How long has it been? I think it has been 3 years since I quit. I think like 3.5 years I quit my last corporate job. And, it's about the hustle now. But this is my passion, So I have my acting agent. I'm always working on music, and it's worth the journey, because I love what I do.
And that is very important. Mm-hmm. Now, you said you don't want to come out with an album. So what's that about? Why no album from you? You're so talented.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, it's kind of like a strategy. I definitely eventually want to have an album with 10, 12 songs on it. But right now I'm just focused on singles and pushing them. And it's a different world right now with, how you have to release content. And it's kind of a blessing because we're able to release our own music and have marketing behind that. So my strategy is to just stockpile songs. So maybe have an album's worth of songs, but release them like one by one, like having a single strategy. And I think a lot of artists do that to really grow the fan base. And then once that's done, then you would start working on an album. You know what I mean? So eventually I will do an album. But right now I'm just doing the singles. So.
Nice. And you just mentioned something important, which brings me to my next question. How do you feel about the evolution of social media as an artist?
I love it. I think when I started doing music, MySpace was poppin'. I had so many followers on MySpace for making songs in my room. That was super lit. And that's when Nicki Minaj was on MySpace. I remember that. And I thought it was so cool that I would just be in my bedroom like, oh my God, I gotta make this song because my followers gotta hear this song. And it was cool for me to be able to do that and post it and get feedback immediately. You don't have to go like my favorite ever, Mariah Carey. She had to make a demo first and then go shop it around, which was fine back then, but we don't have to do that anymore. I guess the only downfall is the marketing. Like, we have to do our own marketing and build our own fan base and then decide if we want to get like a distribution deal or a traditional record deal. So we have to do a lot of the hard work up front. But I just like being able to connect with my fans instantly. You know what I mean? So I kind of like social media. And they give you feedback instantly. So you know if you're on the right track or not. So.
So, question: what is MySpace? No, I'm joking.
I know. I'm like dating myself. Oh my God.
It's okay, honey.
Sucks.
You don't look a day over 21.
I am ageless. I don't
Yeah.
believe in. I'm blessed for all the years I've had on Earth, though. But yeah, I just try to keep a youthful spirit.
Well, you look extremely youthful, so that it's working.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I remembered when that was a thing and people were putting their songs on MySpace, and it's like, and then YouTube began to pick up traction. I'm like, wow, like now there are all these other social media platforms. There's like TikTok and whatnot. So it's like, wow.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, especially TikTok is another beast I have to conquer because I haven't really been on there as much as Instagram. But it's really cool as far as like getting your music out there. It's a music platform, you know what I mean? And as far as the sync licensing world, they've been talking a lot about that, about how producers will be getting paid in the future because they're kind of figuring it out as they go because the technology changes so fast. Like every week you go to look at updates on your phone and they have updated the app already. So it's kind of like technology is changing faster than we can figure out, like, okay, how do I get paid for this song? Because everyone's listening to my song. Like, how do I get paid for it? So, but it's exciting to be a part of this time. I think it's exciting.
That's good. And you just made a very good point because every time I turn around, the algorithm changes. And I feel like as an artist, you have to know when the algorithm changes so that you can, release certain projects. So I'm like, wow, I got to keep up with the times.
I know. I think what it really is is consistency. I think if you're always making content and like syncing your music with it, always on live talking to your fans, I think you'll be fine. But if you take a break, that algorithm gets mad at you. The algorithm will get mad, or either something will change and you're not aware of it because you took a break. So it's just about being consistent, I think, on the app. So, no.
Nice. Well, something else that's really interesting is if it were not for social media, I wouldn't even know you.
You see, there you go. That's so true. We wouldn't have even connected. Because I think back in my day, record labels had to run commercials like, oh, so-and-so's album's coming out now. Remember those? And then like there's those teen magazines, and that's how you found out about your favorite artist, through the magazines.
I'm a 90s baby. I remember going to the Virgin store and listening to songs with the headphones on.
Yeah. And now you just scroll. Ooh, I like this person. Like, that's just how it is now. And we can connect globally like that, So it's really cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
And also when it comes to networking, you had mentioned that earlier, but I wanted to get back to that. Issa Rae, she discussed the importance of networking across, because oftentimes we may want to network with someone who's bigger than us, and there's nothing wrong with that. But how do you feel about that, networking across with people that you might meet, when you're doing your acting gigs and things like that?
I 100% agree with that. I was just talking to a friend of mine about making a short film so we can like have footage for our demo
nice.
reels, and maybe even like submit it to film festivals. So you have to like figure out like, who do I know right now where we can make something happen? Because if I'm just gonna sit here and wait for my agent to send me auditions, it may take a while to book something, or I can just book myself. That's why I made the Allyse show. I just wanted to have my own show, and one of my friends was the producer, and another one of my friends did the recruitment for the show, so he would contact people. And yeah, it's just important to do that. I think a lot of people will go knock on higher ups' doors, and you may not be ready yet. You may not have anything to offer them yet, per se. So yeah, just look at your circle and your friends that you have around you to do something together.
Nice. So tell us about your acting career. We've been talking about the music.
Yeah, so right now I have a commercial acting agent, and it's going good. I get a lot of auditions, but it's a lot of rejection. To be honest, it's a lot of rejection in the industry. You just have to keep at it, go to classes, go to workshops. I do that still, and have my eye out for a theatrical agent right now to get into TV and film. But that's why I was mentioning like creating my own short film to get into that world. because I haven't really broken into the theatrical world yet, but I will. So it's just like it's a grind, you know. It's a grind, so just got to keep at it.
You know, what's interesting, you said it's a lot of rejection, but sometimes we think it's a rejection, but it's a redirection. Because I've heard stories of people who did not book that audition, but a casting director calls them in for another audition, or they meet somebody who's also auditioning, who's doing their own project, and they exchange
Right.
contacts. So you never know.
Yeah, and that's the thing about auditioning when you're just getting started is the first year or two is kind of like all the casting offices getting to know you and getting to trust you. So I just put out really good quality auditions. I have my whole setup because we have to do self-tapes now. That's something that the pandemic changed, you know. So my auditions are really great, and it's just, you know, they have to get gain trust in you sometimes. And I like to hear casting directors talk about the industry. They like to talk on their social media or on YouTube and things like that. And a lot of them say that. I just have to see that you're consistent, or maybe this other actor, it's been a while and I want to give them a shot. And then something else I learned from a recent class I took from a working actor, he was talking about all the different people involved in a booking. So you have your agent, the casting director, and then the producer and director who have to approve you, and then you have the network or the film studio. So there's all these people in line, and yeah, it's just it's a whole process of people approving you. So it could be for different reasons that they may be booking you or not booking you, and you wouldn't know sometimes. So that's why you have to be persistent and just keep going. So definitely.
Nice. Well, I'm happy to hear that you keep going because I don't like to hear that people give up. And you know, I've been following you for a while, so I got to see you make it so I can say, listen, I remember when she was doing her show way back when, and I've been following her.
Yeah, and I booked, you know, I book commercials. I book, I was on Oxygen Network on Ice Cold Blood. So I'm building the resume, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, acting's cool. Acting, and you know, I feel like acting, you make pretty good money too. I'm not even gonna lie, because there's little quick jobs you can do and you get a check like that. Whereas sometimes music, you know, you gotta wait to get paid here and there. So
Especially for commercial work, like commercial work, if you do, even if you do background for a commercial, but especially if it's a weekend or something, you're about to make bank.
yeah. And I did background acting for a while. I haven't done it lately, but I don't think people should ever hate on background acting. You know what I mean? I will say there's certain shows where I have actually auditioned for a speaking role, and I've been background on the show, and I'll like purposely try to kind of hide a little bit because I didn't want to be seen. Because you can sometimes ruin your chance of getting casted if you're too seen. And let's say the scene is like, I don't know, in Kansas, and then they see you, and then like the role you get casted from, you're from a different state or just like a different person, and they're like, wait, in that episode I saw that person and she's like a local Kansas person, but here they said she was from out of town, and you know, so you don't want to kind of put yourself in danger that way with background acting, I've heard. So but it pays the bills for a lot of people, so I never look down on it. And you learn basic etiquette on set. You learn sound, rolling, action, all these different things. You know, you learn, and you get to see the A-listers act and let's see like what they're doing and get inspiration. So
You know, it's so interesting about you saying that. I don't know if it's like maybe it's different in LA, but in New York, I've seen people do background and, you know, they'll upgrade people on set. And this
yep.
person was doing background, doing one thing one day, and now they're upgraded to a speaking line the next. So I'm like, I don't know, like, is LA really strict about that? Because in New York City, they'll upgrade you and you were doing background just yesterday.
Yeah, they'll upgrade you. Definitely, they'll upgrade you. I've seen it happen all the time. And I've heard of people being so consistent, they'll just write you into the show. So it just, you got to be in the right place at the right time and just be really positive about it. You know what I mean? There's all different types of ways to become successful here. That's why it's hard. People ask me like, oh, do you have advice for anyone getting into the industry? Sometimes it's hard to give advice because everyone, what they want is so different. How they're going to handle it is different, you know? So there's all different types of ways to become successful here. it's kind of exciting about it, you know?
It
It's
is.
exciting. Yeah.
And also with doing background, you can network.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely network. So I'm trying to think if I met anyone that I still keep in contact with today. I don't think so, but you definitely talk to a lot of different people on set. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
and the free food is great too.
Oh my God. But it's dangerous. It's really dangerous. But yeah, the free food is amazing. I love that.
Yeah, living rent free off craft services. That was like a big thing for us when we started doing background. So I don't know if you guys do it here in LA too, but that craft services is like really, really good.
Well, I will say before the pandemic, amazing. But now they have like precautions. So some of the stuff is bagged food or they have to serve you. It's like a little bit limited.
Oh no.
Um, yeah, but hopefully they'll get back to like full buffet
Hmm.
style. Cause yeah, that was amazing back then. So yeah.
Nice, nice. So tell me, what are the plans for the future for your music career?
Yeah, so the plans for the future, I'm really excited because the production, like some of my new songs are going to be produced by me that I get to put out, and I just think that's really dope. And there was a little bit of a learning curve I had because I stopped producing for a while and just had other producers produce for me. So I had to catch up with today's technology, and boy, has it evolved. It's a lot easier to do a lot of things now, and I had to upgrade a lot of my equipment and get new plugins. And so I've been playing around like with all these new toys I have and making music. So I'm super excited to be doing that and collaborating with some dope people as well. And I've been getting into the sync world, making instrumentals for TV and film and submitting those. Um, it's kind of cool because it's like, okay, I can act and audition for acting, but I'm also submitting music for those shows and things too. So it's like a whole little ecosystem of jobs you can do. You know what I mean? So yeah, definitely some new music in 2023 for me. So I'm excited.
All right,
Yeah.
we look forward to it. And you know, you're a multi-talented woman. You had a hair business and everything too.
Yeah, I do my side hustles. If I could sell some
She's too
stuff right
modest. She's
quick.
just far too
I
modest,
was
ladies and
hustling
gentlemen.
that hair, honey. I was selling that weave. Like, I'm so, if there's something that you love, and I'm putting myself out there, but I have a wig on right now. I love weave. So if there's something that you love and you're good at it and you can sell it, why not? Like, I'm a walking advertisement. People will be like, oh, where'd you get your hair from or who did your hair? So yeah, I was selling hair for a little bit, but I encourage anybody, like especially with all the services online right now. They have the Amazon influencer program. I just signed up for that. You can sell your own products online, so definitely do it and make some extra income. Definitely.
Nice, nice. And you had mentioned something earlier. I want to circle back to it. You said you pay your dancers. I'm so happy to hear that. I like to hear when people who are running their own independent productions pay people. I'm like, yeah, they're artists too. They got to eat.
Yeah, and I'm not this big production company. I mean, I have a production company, but I'm not like this. I don't have a huge budget, but I'm not gonna, screw people over. I pay for the food and try to take care of people, and it's about reputation as well. I don't want anyone to be like, oh, I worked with her, and I was like, oh my god, you know what I mean? And I just try to leave a good mark on people, and I want people to have fun. And when I was shooting the Alley show, there was always food on set and water. Like I want everyone to have fun in my presence. You know what I mean? And you get footage, I get footage, and it's great. So, yeah.
Nice. So, are there any artists that you would like to collaborate with musically?
Ooh.
You mentioned Mariah Carey. What about her?
Oh, of course. Brandy just did a collab with Mariah, the Roof remix, and that was a dream come true to listen to because I love the Roof. That would be dope to write with her. I would love to just sit down and write with her because she's one of the greatest writers ever, songwriters and vocal producers. So I would just be learning from her. I would be in heaven. I would love to write with her, and I would love to produce with Missy Elliott. That would be
Ooh.
friggin'. I love Timbaland too, but like Missy, of course, because she's a woman and she's so unique. But her and Timbaland take a lot of risk in their music making. They don't follow rules. But her music just sounded so different when I was growing up. She was such a big inspiration to me to take risks when producing. Um, and who else? I actually really like Taylor Swift.
Okay.
I think about kind of like when collaborating as far as like being in the studio and writing with them and producing with them. Singing is cool too, but just creating the song with these people and the way they think and kind of trying to learn from them and putting my own spin on it too as well. So yeah.
Nice. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. Do you want to tell the people where they can follow you?
Yes, definitely. You can follow me on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook. It's Allyse Gibson _ and my music is on most major music platforms. Allyse Gibson, so Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, all the good ones. So yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be on your show. I'm so happy for your success.
All right, thank you so much. All right, and reporting live from the Los Angeles Art District, make sure that you guys tune in for the next episode of Trading Photos and subscribe to our YouTube channel.